The Doug local user groups called Doug Meetups are growing. Find your local meetup today by visiting the Doug Hub on the left menu bar. Please welcome our heroic sponsor, Innovia Consulting, and community superhero, Tom Doran. Today he'll be presenting on thinking of using CRM? How about the one you have inside Business Central? Presented by Innovia Consulting.
Hello everyone, my name's Tom Doran. Today I'm here at DynamicsCon Virtual to share with you some of the CRM features that you may not be aware of inside the system you already own. That's right, Business Central has a nearly complete set of CRM functionality baked right in. And so many of our customers and other end users are finding that rather than investing an extensive amount of money in a new CRM system, they can use what they already own, at least get started with CRM, and lots of them find that it has all of the features that they need. So a little background on me, I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at Innovia Consulting. I'm also a volunteer with the Dynamics User Group. Really excited to volunteer on the advisory committee. And today we're going to be looking at a few of the functional areas inside your CRM for Business Central. We'll look at the contacts, we'll look at opportunities, we'll look at sales funnels and pipelines, and we'll look at how all of the integration and the fact that the CRM is inherent inside the system really gives a distinct advantage over many of the other alternatives. So I'm going to make a quick switch over and we'll take a look at the software. So now we're looking at a role center for a sales manager. If you were one of the sales team, your data would be segmented so you just see your information. But today we're looking at a sales manager, and as you'll see across the top here, we've got some shortcuts to all of our favorite things. So our contacts, our opportunities, our marketing campaigns, we can see our activities. And then as I roll down my dashboard, I also see things that I want to keep track of. So how many quotes are out? How many opportunities do we have active? You can see we've got a red box here on the screen. And so that's based on our KPIs, and it's telling us, hey, look, you're off the pace. And so I could drill into that number, get right at that data, follow up with the appropriate team members, and hopefully course correct so that we hit our revenue targets. Again, I've got this one cleaned up a little bit, but right down the screen, I've got the couple Power BI reports that I want to look at. So I was visiting with a customer just the other day, and they said, so how are you using these tools at Innovia? And I talked about how I start my morning. And so I get my coffee, I fire up my phone, and on my phone, I look at these two Power BI reports. I want to see the sales funnel. I want to see the sales team performance, who's hitting the ball hard and who maybe needs a little more coaching. And so all of these, again, are drillable, but I can see how many opportunities I have at each stage of the pipeline. And so, again, like everything else in Business Central, I could click in, I could get to the detail, I could follow up with that opportunity owner and make sure that, we're moving forward the way we've all decided we want it to go. Now, everybody gets excited about that sales funnel. And frankly, pictures of sales funnels probably drive more CRM sales than anything else in this industry. But a senior leader goes out and they see these dashboards and then they come back and they say, hey, I want that same kind of visibility at our company. But at the end of the day, the pretty pictures start with the data. So I'm going to do a quick search here and we're going to go find sales cycles. And so I'll grab my sales cycles. Now, these are just examples I have in my database. Most customers have one, right? We have a process that we follow when we are engaging with a prospective customer. Maybe if we deal with different industries, we might have a couple of different processes if those industries vary in how we approach them. But the idea here is if I step into this service logistics opportunity, I'm going to look at the stages. And so the stages are simply the steps that we follow. So the phone rings, we get a web inquiry, whatever tells us that we got a new lead. So from that point, we begin to track what are the steps that we say we follow when we're engaging with a prospective customer. And then what do we anticipate our close rate to be at each one of those steps? Now, I share this all the time as well. It's a journey. You're going to start with maybe no data. You're probably going to have a little bit of spotty data for a while, and then you'll get to good data. But right now, we have a general sense of the number of people that raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in a conversation. What percentage of those close? Of the people that we have a presentation with, what percentage of those close? So we're going to use our best educated guess. We're going to fill this in. But then when we assign opportunities to a particular sales stage, that's what builds the pretty picture. So, it all starts with data. Everything about these systems is reliant upon the data that we put in them. So now I'm going to leave opportunities for just a minute. And we're going to go take a look at contacts because that's the second most frequently asked question. Do we have contact management? And Business Central most certainly does. Many of us probably are aware that you can have multiple contacts for a customer within Business Central, but they didn't quite put together that those contacts are actually part of the CRM system. And so if we look at the contacts at the top here, Greg, Hans, Karen, they're not associated to a company and they have no business relationship. So that's telling us that they're a prospect. If I scroll down a little further, I can see A&D company, and you'll notice this is bold. So that tells me that the next two are contacts within this company. So I can see that they do have a business relationship as customer, and they have a company name, right? So that tells me that we're engaged with somebody who in fact has done business with us before. That works the same way on the vendor side. There's also banking relationships. But within any one of these contacts, so if I do a quick search, and search tends to be my friend as I have gotten more familiar with the new interface, and for those of us that have been doing this a long time, it took me a minute to get used to it, but I find it to be a lot easier to navigate. But now I can see the history with Jeff. I can see his contact information. So I had an incoming phone call, an outgoing phone call. I can also see some profile information. So if I scroll down, this is an individual. So it's telling me a little bit, hey, Jeff's got kids. He likes golf. He's an extrovert. Helps me engage with him a little bit more effectively. If Jeff had other information that I wanted to know, I could capture that here as well. But I can get how many opportunities do I have with Jeff? So it gives us all the information we need in order to interact with Jeff. Now, once somebody is a contact within our system, the demo that we've all seen that's equally important is the Outlook integration. And so now I see that I've got an email here from Jeff. And so I need to find out what he's looking for. He's looking for some more back wheels. And so right from here, I could go down to Business Central and I could do a new sales quote right from Outlook. And you've all seen this demo, so I'm not going to do this piece again because we only have 20 minutes. But salespeople, customer service folks, our purchasing teams, they spend a lot of time inside of their email interacting with the various trading partners that we engage with. And so the idea that they can actually use this to respond to them, track that response inside Business Central, and get a quote or a purchase order going right from their email is a big deal. Microsoft's also using a little bit of this AI that we keep hearing about, and it helps us predict, it will begin to fill in your quote if it recognizes the item number and have your lines filled in for you right away. So then the next piece of the puzzle is an opportunity. And so if I go into one of my opportunities here, and let's just see how we're doing. So I can see that this particular opportunity, I've had an interaction. I can see my sales stage steps that I've been through. And then, what's my estimated value? And based on the weighting, what is it netting out at in my forecast? Right from the opportunity, I could go and create a sales quote. And so when I create my sales quote from an opportunity, it actually creates that link. So if I started all the way back in marketing, I got an opportunity, I worked it, I generate a sales quote, all of that flows through. So when I look at the statistics on my marketing activities, I can actually see, how much business did I in fact close? What's my conversion on the quotes that I got, and helps me give that much better ROI on my system. I update my opportunity. I move it to the next stage just by clicking the update button. It asks me how I'm doing. In this case, I'm just going to say this all looks good, but I could update and adjust my quote if I wanted to. I say okay, and it moves it to the next step of the opportunity. So then, where did this start? Well, it all started in a couple of places. We've got some profile questionnaires. So that told us what Jeff was interested in. Actually, it's called questionnaire setup, isn't it? So if I go and look at a customer, I want to know some information about them, right? Are they one of our better customers? How's our dollars, our percentages? How many discounts have we given them? And so I can set these up just as simple as saying, hey, I want to ask a new question. So if I turn that to a question, I fill it in, and then I fill in my acceptable answers. I can have more than one answer. But you can see as a company, I have got certain information that I want. As a person, I calculate or I capture different information. All of this helps us tailor our marketing and our communications so that we're effectively communicating and converting our programs. So if I go into my marketing event, I can see what's going on. If I go and look, I could see my statistics on it. So, how many opportunities did I have originally targeted? How many responded? What was my cost per response, and then opportunities so that I can get a full ROI picture on my marketing campaign. So then the next place I want to go is to segments. And so when I go into my segments, and this is where the real power starts to happen. So when people are leaving one of the other CRM systems to come back to Business Central, it's because of the integration. It doesn't matter whether it's Microsoft Dynamics 365 for sales, Salesforce, or any of these other products that say, oh, don't worry, we have pre-built connectors. It's never the same as having all your data in one database. And so in this case, I'm going to add some contacts. And I have a lot of opportunity here, right? I could filter by company, by a salesperson, a region, any field in the database, right? Just like anything else that we filter on. There's those contact profile answers, right? So I want to talk to our top 25% of the customers, and I want to give them a particular promo. Mailing groups, interactions, but where I really get excited are the value entries. So think about, we're launching a new product. We want to contact everybody who bought product X because we think they'll be interested in this new product. Well, because it's all in here, we know who bought it. It's in our item ledger entries. We bring that right into this filter, and it allows us to bring in those customers. So show me anybody, maybe there's some expansion we can do, right? We have some complementary products we want to talk to them about. Or How about this? We have customers that have bought from us every month for the last 5 years. Show me everybody who has bought in the last 5 years who hasn't bought in the last 90 days. Give me a sense of how my retention is with my customers, and help me do a better job of reaching out and making sure that, we're taking care of them. And if there's an issue, the idea that I addressed it and that my system gave me the data to know that they had not placed an order in a while gives us an opportunity to hopefully ship around and restore their regular cadence of business with us. So then the next piece is Power BI, right? Because all of this, the Power Platform, Outlook, integrates with our Business Central. So if I wanted more robust dashboards than I could get out of Business Central, or I want a little more real estate, then I can bring this to Power BI. If you're running Business Central SaaS, you can set this up and it loads virtually automatically. But now I can begin to tailor my dashboards and have a lot more real estate so that I can, in this case, I'm tracking my gross margin, my total revenue, which of my sales executives are doing a good job. Are they on plan? How are they doing on gross margin? All of these things are available to us because our CRM and our ERP are all in the same database. And then the last thing that I'll talk about is deployment expense. And so obviously you want to talk with your partner about this, but we've found that most customers are a fairly basic implementation. We want to have contacts, we want to have opportunities, we want to see a sales pipeline. Maybe it's just that simple. You should do the profile questions because it's not that hard to do. And so we take those basic building blocks and we start our journey with CRM. If you do that is going to be, I think I'm safe to say, a sub $50,000 engagement. And I throw that out. There's a lot of people are saying, oh, we can do that in a few hours. And you're right, you probably can. But just to give you a sense of scale, when you evaluate that against Dynamics 365 for sales or Salesforce, those are going to be much more expensive, and you're going to have all the additional licensing. Most of the CRM users that we have within our customer base can use a Teams license, $8, $10 maybe, and you really save a lot of money. So if you start that part of the journey, keep it simple, prove to yourselves that you will in fact use the CRM, because the failure rate or the lack of adoption with CRM systems is astronomically high. And so this also lowers your risk because you have this software already. Invest in a little bit of training. Maybe you want to play around with the interface a little bit, or build maybe a little bit of a power app to help with the interface for the folks that are going to interface on their phone or a tablet or something that isn't providing them quite as much real estate. But all of that you're going to invest a lot less money for what is arguably at least as powerful, if not more powerful, CRM capabilities, because they're already baked into the system. So I hope this has been a helpful presentation for you. We're going to wrap this up and turn it over for questions. So thank you all very much, and I look forward to hearing the great questions that I'm sure are going to come from our end users. Enjoy the rest of virtual. We'll talk soon. Bye.